What is up? I am Miguel Antonio, and this is the Live and Create podcast. It's where I interview artists and entrepreneurs about what it means to live a great life and create great things. And this is the pre-COVID edition. It's a series of interviews I did back in late 2019. And even though a whole lot of life and a whole lot of crazy things have happened in between now and then, I still think that the stories that these people shared are going to be of value to you. In today's episode, we have Billie Jean. She's lead journalist at Exposure Magazine out of Denver, Colorado. And she shares her story with us, starting as a model overseas and how she leveraged that career to carve out her own path in music journalism. She also has some great advice to share to new artists who are trying to make their own way in the industry as well. Hope you guys enjoy.
The Live and Create podcast.
Boom, we're here. Back in Denver.
Hi guys! Oh my gosh, it's been forever. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
doing really good.
Yeah.
So I think it's been 2 years.
About 2 years
like
since the last time we interviewed. Yeah.
So
you've got a lot of progression happening in your life.
Trying. So
That's
it looks
awesome.
like you've been up to a ton of things. So
quite a few.
because originally we met, I think via Twitter or Instagram, one of those things.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
A long time ago.
And I remember you were like, or no, I was like, looking for gigs or something, and then you said, "Oh, I wish you could play my birthday party." And I was like,
right.
You told me the date, and I was like, "Actually, we can." I literally thought we were going to be playing in your backyard or something. I was like, we're going to go play someone's birthday party that we met on Twitter in Denver, and the guys in my band at the time, they're like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Let's do it.
And then come to find out, it's like a full show
an actual
with
venue.
like
yes.
5 bands or something.
Yeah,
and
we had we had 3 bands that
okay.
night and 2 live performers. So
Right.
2 separate sets of live performers. So
because it was Kaja who did the like suspension stuff,
Yeah.
and then what were the girls' names? The two
together. Girls were Sierra and Serena, and they were the Scissor Sweethearts.
Right, that's
and
what.
So they
okay.
did a lot of kind of circus performing acts, sideshow
walked on glass, and I was like,
walk on glass, breathe fire, Definitely at my birthday events, I like to go big.
Yeah,
and,
so I was like, okay,
for sure.
we're playing this role. And now since then, just kind of staying in touch with you, seeing you're involved in modeling as well, and then also jujitsu. So you're kicking people's asses every once in a while.
Well,
so
I'm a girl.
So tell me, I guess, kind of break down some of the things that you're doing in life right now.
Whew.
I know it's a general question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So since we've seen each other last, I tend obviously to throw big birthday parties, just just as like, woo, what can I put together? So usually that implements a few bands, live acts, things like that. But outside of that, since I've seen you, definitely the progression has been happening. So still working strongly with the Exposure Magazine, still covering a lot of different events, focusing more on the larger ones, of course, because those are the people that reach out to me. So we're potentially covering the Eagles coming up soon in March.
So for those who aren't from this area, what is Exposure Magazine? Kind of talk about what you guys do.
So Exposure Magazine covers a lot of different music, performing arts, fashion as well. So we encompass a lot of different elements here in the Denver scene. So if you're looking for any fun activities, music, performing arts related, or even
huge
just
birthday parties.
Or huge birthday parties, like just come around in April. Wink, wink. But we definitely encompass a broadband range. So we cover things from Supercross, Monster Jam, Cirque du Soleil,
and here
really
the Eagles,
and the Eagles. So, but goodness gracious, we've been expanding so much that we're only able to cover more national touring talent. Covering. The up-and-coming music scene here is something that we used to do a lot of,
But so much time is taken
elsewhere now. So we're looking to expand our team with, talented photographers, talented journalists, that we are able to utilize more on the streets, because I can't clone myself. I can't, have 5 of me going out to like 5 different nights of parties, because realistically, there are multiple events happening on the same night sometimes.
Right. And
so
how can you cover all those things at the same time?
How can I do that? I can't. I don't have a teleportation device. I can't have a cloning machine. So we definitely...
Maybe one day, we're not quite there.
Maybe one day, but I'm kind of worried about like the molecular technology
like
of it.
There?
Yeah, like because if we disintegrate and then we're like transported, will everything be put back together properly? I think there might be a few things.
Yeah, and I'm not signing up to test that.
I don't want to do that.
As many times as my iPhone crashes,
right.
I don't want to really test out transporter technology.
What are you going to miss out on when you get reformulated?
Like who are you now? I don't even know.
I don't even know.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we're definitely looking to expand our team so that we can have more of that local coverage again, like we used to, because we are focusing so much on national talent that we don't want to miss out on those up and comers.
Yeah.
Anyways, so.
That's cool. So for them, you're doing some of the writing. Are you doing photography as well? I can't remember
no
if you did
photography
that.
for myself. Yeah, I wish I could be so talented behind the camera, but no. So I usually attend the show and just write about it. So
nice.
I'll have my photographer take the pictures, and then we kind of join our stories together and deliver it to the public. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So then also the other thing that's been progressing for you is modeling. I saw you're doing some competitions with that as well.
Ooh, I was, definitely. So modeling honestly is what got me into this journalistic career.
Really? So that was the start. See, I'm learning things right now.
So here's a little backbeat.
Going forward and going back.
Oh, man. So I started a long time ago, well over 10 years ago, modeling with a group that was very similar to God's Girls or Suicide Girls.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Without the contract involved, so that I maintained all of my own personal information, you know. Very smart business-wise in that aspect, because if you model for these different groups, they're in control of all of your information.
Yeah.
So you don't have rights to any of the images or videos that they're placing out.
Wow.
So I chose a different group. And while modeling with that different group at a tattoo convention in New York, I was put in contact with someone, a video production company from Australia.
Nice.
And was offered the opportunity to become their on-camera talent, interviewing different celebrities.
Nice.
So I'm like, of course, how can you say no to that? So I ventured to Australia for about 6 months and worked for this company. And from that point, came back stateside, started working more with media on the radio and things of that nature.
Okay.
So that progressed. I went to California, was working a lot with Sirius XM, Jason Ellis Show, things like that. And then when I came to Denver's a little bit of more of a harder mecca to break into media-wise.
Was it just really tight-knit? Was that
very tight-knit? You have to know people. So luckily,
and you're walking in like, hey, I'm you.
Hey, I'm fresh. What's up? So breaking into this media scene here in Denver was a little bit more difficult. So initially, I knew a few people that were on 107.5 that got me to meet and greet with another group of people.
Very cool.
That allowed me to continue a few on-camera interviews, or me actually being the interview subject on their show. So guest spots, etc., things like that.
Very cool.
And then through the modeling aspect, I was hired on to pose coach girls, first-time models, for a photo shoot.
When that was through Exposure?
No, actually, this is how I got involved with Exposure.
Gotcha.
So,
I was skipping too far ahead.
You're
getting a bridge going in there.
I'm getting there. Everything's a story with me. And so I met Teddy, the owner and CEO of Exposure Magazine, on this said shoot. So I was hired on to coach the first-time models, to pose coach them, help them, achieve these beautiful pictures that they were paying for. So, and Teddy was the photographer for that event. So we started talking, and he said he had a magazine that he was developing, but he didn't have a writer, he didn't have anything put into place. And I said, oh, Teddy, I can write. And he's like, sure,
right,
sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
All people say they can write, sure. So he put me on an assignment, and I delivered the article, and he called me the next day, and he was like, hey, so when you said you could write, I didn't really believe you.
He's like, but I'm liking it.
You can write. So
Awesome.
would you like to join my team? And
Okay.
so from that point forward, Teddy and I have just worked very closely together to create the entity that is Exposure Magazine today.
I love that tenacity, though, of like coming into a completely like foreign community to you and finding your way to build those relationships. And how long was that process from like the day you drove into Denver to this moment you found yourself with Exposure Magazine?
Literally within a couple of weeks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and-
you're up in the
so
game for everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, just like boosh, like get in there. If
That's
you want
awesome.
that, get it. You know?
I love it. That's cool.
And so the opportunity was presented, and I took it and ran with it. So
And that's huge because I think a lot of people who follow me are other artists as well. And I hear that question a lot, like, how do I meet this person? How do I get to know that person? And,
Absolutely.
and I think that's a great perspective for them to hear. I may even just clip that section out and,
Yeah.
and put that as its own standalone of like,
Take
hey, you want that?
initiative.
And go find the relationships.
take the initiative and meet and greet with these people.
Yeah,
The worst that's going to come from the situation is you might get rejected.
right.
Oh well, that means that spot was not meant for you. You know, so
And as
so
an
take
artist,
that
I
and
feel like
go,
rejection is just part of that. Like,
part of our life.
I had a friend who works in the corporate world, and he was calling me up when I took a break from music, and he was like, hey, I was thinking about you for this particular job because it has to deal with people saying no to you like all day, and I thought you as an artist would probably know what that's like. So you interested. I ended up not like pursuing that,
Yeah.
but like he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
You spend more often than not,
Absolutely.
it feels like rejection, but then when the doors get
Absolutely.
opened,
Exactly.
Boom.
And so, but if you don't take that initiative, that door could potentially never be
Right.
open for you anyways.
That's
So go out there and get what you want, you know, talk to the people you want to talk to and see what you can bring from that.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
it. That's great perspective. Now,
Yeah.
something that's been really cool, like watching from afar right now, is this journey into jiu-jitsu. Now, is this thing that's been a piece of your life for a long time, or is this a new thing?
So jiu-jitsu has been in my life for well over 10 years.
Okay, so somehow I missed that in the beginning when we first met.
No, it's been just like an underlying aspect.
Yeah.
You know, I trained off and on here and there kind of about 10 years ago. And so coming into Denver and meeting the people that I have been meeting, Peter, the professor at Littleton Easton Training Academy, is a really just a very admirable person. So whenever I found out that he had left Easton, the Denver location, and opened his own school here in Littleton, that's whenever I thought, this is my opportunity to really learn from an amazing instructor.
Yeah.
And so I thought about getting back into it and signed up and have just been going pretty relatively strong since. You know,
Yeah.
this year has been a lot of ups and downs. It's kind of kept me out of my normal routine, but hoping that as soon as this little year finishes, I can get right back into a better routine again.
Gotcha. So the year itself just kind of
It's been a
meandered you
little
in and out.
overwhelming. A lot of things have come up and just lots of work.
Yeah.
So it's definitely kind of meandered me away from the gym. So I'm like trying to get back and like get back once, and I'm like yes, and then life takes you away again. So, but jiu-jitsu I really feel is great for honing your own personal confidence, especially with the way that Denver is enlarging here. I feel that jiu-jitsu is ideal for not only children, you know, going through schooling.
Like more from a self-defense perspective, or just the confidence
Self-defense and confidence,
Gotcha.
exactly. So children that train jiu-jitsu have more confidence in themselves and can stand up to bullies, you know, because they know I can wreck you. Like,
It's like,
I don't
I will
care.
destroy
Go
you.
ahead and
You
call
don't
me
understand.
fat. I don't care. You know, do you want to be put in an arm bar for it? You know, like that's your decision. You know.
I love
So it gives them the confidence to be able to walk away and understand that words are words.
Yeah.
And for adults, you know, especially women, I feel in this growing community of Denver, a lot more crime is happening.
You say that
know?
literally as sirens start
There
blaring
we go.
outside.
Exactly. And
That's perfect timing.
perfect,
On cue.
you know?
That's brilliant. I don't know if it got picked up in the
I didn't
mics,
plan that.
but you're like, and then crime. That's amazing.
So for women to walk around with that confidence, to understand that not like I'm telling you to just completely disregard what's going on around you. You absolutely become more perceptive of your situation and the place that you're in. So being able to understand that you can handle a situation that comes across to you in a timely manner. So if you're approached in a parking lot late at night or on the downtown streets of Denver, you can know that you don't have to just run away. Like if this person decides to get kind of frisky with you, you just like
break an arm or two.
Judo flip them to the ground, get them knee on belly, and like call it a day, and just like kind of point in their face and say, ha ha ha. Like,
that's awesome.
Like I'm done here.
So when you're doing this, you're grappling, sparring as well, and
not
is that
sparring,
a piece of it?
but definitely grappling.
Okay.
So
the difference sparring is
would
more...
be more stand up,
Gotcha.
so like Muay Thai if you're incorporating that.
Okay.
We definitely begin stand up sometimes and incorporate a lot of judo for the takedown portion, But just I would say that jiu-jitsu has really helped to increase confidence levels and just that all over goodness, and it's fun.
And excited to get back 2020 going hardcore into jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely.
Now, have you ever competed? Are there like okay.
No, not myself. I'm definitely not on that level for competition.
Okay.
You can breed yourself into that level and kind of feel more at home with it, but I don't feel that I would ever be very competitive in this one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in jiu-jitsu.
That's not your goal.
Not my goal. Yeah, my goal is just to increase my own personal awareness and self-confidence. Yeah.
And what belt are you? Or you want me to cut that out? We'll move on.
2-stripe white belt.
2 what?
2-stripe white belt.
Nice. See,
yeah,
but the progress.
But I talk like a blue belt.
Hell yeah. You're like, I have the vocabulary
I
of a
talk
blue
big.
belt.
I talk big, but I'm a white belt. That's what all
With
of
2
us do.
stripes?
Yeah, with 2 stripes.
2 stripes,
Two
not just a white belt?
Yeah, exactly. I got you.
That's killer. How have you seen your training in jiu-jitsu spill over into like what you do with Exposure magazine or into modeling and some of your career path?
I would just say that the confidence level, definitely having the ability to, the assertiveness that goes along with it, I can definitely tackle situations a little bit more fluently, and it's that little peace of mind. It helps you kind of just, that was a little bit of a tricky one. But yeah, I would say that the progression with my personal life, incorporating jiu-jitsu has just definitely increased more of a confidence level.
Yeah, so just bringing confidence to whatever you're doing in
Absolutely.
that regard.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, obviously, music's a huge piece of your life. Where did that passion start for you?
My passion for music started at a very young age. I'm a classically trained musician, so
Nice.
I've been working with music since the age of 5.
So classically, like piano?
Piano.
Or right
Piano
on.
was my initial start. And then from there, in school, I went into orchestra. I played the flute, maintained
Nice.
first
Are you a Lizzo
chair.
fan? No. She's like,
3, 2, 1. No. No.
you're like,
no.
do not bring that up.
Lizzo's
But
a great artist.
she plays
Yeah,
flute
she
and
does,
has
yes.
someone twerk at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, how can you not be a fan of that?
It's an interesting dynamic, absolutely.
I like how you put that. It's an interesting
but
dynamic.
I love when music can incorporate all different styles like that too. So you're not feeling, but that's just not my genre of music that I typically listen
It's all
to.
good. It's all good.
My genre
I won't judge you for it. I
know.
won't judge you.
But I do appreciate whenever you can incorporate different styles into the music.
Yeah. So you did flute. You said was it high school? In
Middle
orchestra?
school through high school. So
Okay.
from 7th grade to 12th grade, I maintained first chair position.
Well done. Well done.
It's just a very perfectionist in me, where I wanted to be like number 1 all the time.
Maybe a little competitive.
A little bit
competitiveness
competitive,
in there. Yeah.
absolutely. So, that music, my love for music is what kind of brought me into this journalism career and working so much, pardon me, and so closely with other musicians.
Yeah.
So,
Now, do you still play? Are you still playing piano, flute, or any of that kind of thing, or?
Not too much, I definitely
in all that
don't
free time
have
you probably
anything.
have.
Yeah, right. Like
After all the things we've talked about.
From 12:30 to 1 in the morning, I play the flute.
Get a little bit of flute time.
Unfortunately, no, I've kind of breaking away from playing music on my own.
Yeah.
I've thought about getting back into it, but pardon me,
It's all good.
throat's kind of getting dry. But definitely, I just have such a love for music that being involved in it in any way is...
You want me to get you some water?
Yeah,
Let's get you
take
some
a little
water.
break. I'll just take a drink.
Well, maybe next time I come through, you'll be playing keyboard in a band.
Absolutely. No? Maybe back up or maybe vocals for
and
some
a black
EDM
belt in
tracks,
jiu-jitsu at the same time.
Black belt will take me about 12 years.
12 years. Okay. Gotcha.
It's a good long process, but but I've got great instructors in Easton. They're wonderful people. So
That's killer.
Definitely, if anyone's looking to get into that market here, I would highly suggest them. So
That's cool.
But with my own personal upbringing, I think that's why I do enjoy this line of work so much, because I am able to speak with so many different talented artists and pick their brains about, what interests them, how did they create their music, and then, eventually maybe I'll break into the DJ world. I'm definitely working with a lot of EDM artists now, so
I love EDM stuff. I really dig it.
So happy.
So like DJ, like actually mixing and like performing DJ?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind's kind of going now with where I want to be with music, like for myself. I don't know if I'd ever really like perform on stage or anything like that, but like
she says that, and then
maybe
like 2 years from now, she's like, "Yeah, I'm one of the lead DJs in Denver."
I'm like totally headlining all these shows. I mean, that would totally be rad, but
you're like, I'm so cool. I wrote an article about myself as an amazing DJ in Denver.
Right? Just like shadow pen that.
That'd be cool. You should totally do it at least once, right? To feel it, and then you might get the bug.
For it. Yeah, absolutely. So I love music, and that just seems like maybe the next progression. I've been hanging out with a lot of great artists lately, and just being able to just stand next to them while they're mixing has
see
been
what they're doing.
Mind-blowing for me, so I could just geek out on
a lot of people
electronics.
don't know how much like artistry for a good DJ. There's some DJs who are just
plug and play.
Clicking through. Like I DJ'd a wedding once, which was all it was just breaking in.
Can I crash?
Yeah, crash on it.
3, 2, 1.
Sorry.
No worries.
Good. But yeah, so I DJ'd a wedding. It was just clicking and stuff. But like I have friends who do the real. the real mixing though and the art form of it is incredible.
It's
like
incredible
what people can do
to watch it just with the drop downs and like fade outs. I'm like, I want to know all of this.
Yeah.
Like, teach me your ways, master.
And it seems really complicated. I took my boys to Guitar Center one day, and they're 6 and 7. They have the headphones on. They're sitting there with the mixing thing, and they're like, "Dad, how's it work?" Because they're thinking, "You're a musician, And I'm like, looking. It looks like a spaceship to me. I don't even know what to do. It's like, dude,
There's
I
so
got a
many
lot to learn.
inputs, different channels. You plug in, play here or there, and I'm like mind blown. Absolutely.
And all they want to do is mix,
scratch, like old school.
Yeah,
like old school scratch. Yeah, we've got some great talent here in Denver. The owner of Hot Boy Records is here, and
what is it?
Hot Boy Records.
Hot Boy Records. Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
He's done a whole lot of work with just different major label EDM artists. So incorporating, doing little tracks here and little tracks there. But yeah, the EDM scene is blowing up here in Denver. Cool. So
it seems to be a really cool scene. Like the more I'm getting to know about it, meeting different artists here in the city.
Jacket is from Dirty Bird Records.
Dirty Bird Records. They got jacket swag. That's legit.
Yeah, no, it's the shit.
I love it.
But
So diving into kind of the philosophical end, what makes you tick? If you had to define it, and technically you kind of do because you're on this podcast, so this is part of it. So how would you define a great life for you personally?
So as I've heard time and time before, a great life is happiness. It's what makes you happy and what you can create around you that is going to create that environment to produce that happiness.
Yeah.
You know, a great life to some might mean millions of dollars in a fancy car. You know, how many Mercedes can I own? You know, things like that. But a great life to me is definitely more simple and is involving happiness. You know, I don't need those big ticket items to make me happy.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, like my close friends, you know, people that I trust, are some of the people that can make me the most happiest. The next is obviously music. You know, the way it can infiltrate and impact you is such a happy moment, you know, in your life. So surrounding yourself with what makes you happy is definitely what's going to lead to that ultimatum, like that ultimate dream for
Yeah.
you know, and how can you make that happen in your life, you know?
That's cool. So even kind of here, finding happiness in the relationships that you have and the music that you're around, in a sense, the work that you do. Is
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So I have created a life of happiness based on all of that, you know, like I love music. What can I do to get myself around music more? Well, let me write about it. Let me expose it to the world.
Nice.
You know,
Exposure.
And exactly
Full circle. Well
so
done.
full circle. You know, and so that's how I incorporated that portion of my happiness, you know, into my life. My friendships are only involved with people that give back what I give to them. Mm-hmm. And that's super important for your happiness. You know, you can't be involved with people that are constantly taking from you.
It's a hard lesson to learn, I think, at least for me, that's been a hard one. But
because when you're a
it's
giving
becoming more
person,
and more apparent in life, you know?
Exactly. When you're a giving person and you're a caring person and a good person, you always want to help others. Mm-hmm. But if you're constantly taking, that's not helping you at all.
Yeah.
So surround yourself with people that give back as much as you put into them.
That's cool.
And you'll find your true happiness in life. Material possessions are not always going to bring you happiness.
Right.
You know, you can sit amongst your $1 million items perfectly alone.
Yeah. It's like you're just
wondering,
a rich, alone person.
You're just rich but alone and all sad inside because you've got no true friends, you know?
Yeah.
So just surrounding yourself with those good, like-minded people will definitely help you expand.
Yeah. And it's been cool even on this journey as I build my own music career and even the last band when we met, I was with Run With It and touring, doing all that. It's like I took 2 years off of touring once the band ended, and it hit me during that time. It's like it was all the relationships, it was all these kind of things that really outlasted even what I was doing there.
Right.
You know, and
Exactly.
I suddenly get texts from people, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time. You know, and those kind of things, and then reconnecting. It's like, man, the relationships, any opportunity that's ever come has come through, at least for me, has come through relationships, and how big and how important that is beyond just like even business. It's like they become people, even if it's a business relationship at first, often grow into actual friendship too, which is amazing. So, so creating great things, how would you define for yourself what is creating great things to you?
Creating great things. Well, the first step is to think about these things. and then you put them into motion. You know, creating the great things definitely would involve like what is great to you and what you're wanting to achieve, you know. I definitely have some goals that I would like to achieve in the next few years. Exposure Magazine, we are actually looking into doing more on-camera stuff.
Nice.
So hopefully
you guys
with
will be doing something like this with...
We'll be incorporating, I'll be back on camera
Hell
doing
yeah.
interviews again.
There you go.
So that
Full
was
circle from Australia to
boom, boom.
Denver now.
now we're localized in Denver. So initially when I started in Denver, I did have a videographer. So we were covering a few tattoo events and things like that for the Australian company though. Because when I came back stateside, I was still working for them. And so I found a videographer here that would help incorporate our tattoo ideas out there.
Yeah.
So so now being able to incorporate that video spectrum with this current magazine is, I feel like, going to be really, really great.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys do a lot, like Facebook-wise, at all, or you can put some stuff, because I could see such an opportunity once you go into video with, especially
Doing the
Instagram
live.
and
Absolutely.
Facebook and the live, all that, and IGTV is just growing. So I even think
really
all the
is.
algorithms are favoring it right now, but who knows
True.
what it will favor in like 2 months from now? 'Cause
Algorithms are so hard. Oh my gosh.
they break my heart sometimes.
Seriously.
I'm like, I had this figured out, man, and now you messed it all up.
And now none of my hashtags work. I'm like, okay, shake the baby. Like, seriously.
Yeah, well, I've almost given up on hashtags because I'm like, it doesn't even work anymore.
Sometimes
So,
I don't use hashtags and I get more likes.
I know, that's been happening to me.
I'm like, what in the world? Like, how does that, and how are you even finding me without the hashtags?
Right. Like, where is that even happening?
Where is it even, okay, yeah, because I've been checking my insights and like, certain people are finding me without the hashtags and I'm like,
how is this happening?
How?
Now, I think location is helping on some level. But yeah, that's probably a whole other podcast. Do you remember Daniel Cole, our drummer, Dreads and everything? He's brilliant at social media.
Yeah.
Anything I've learned is really from him. And he was texting me. He's like, hey, stop using so many hashtags. It's squelching it, man.
Right, so it's almost slowing it down.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So he's experimenting, trying to figure that out.
Yeah, definitely.
So creating great things where if I hear you right, you're saying at first take the moment to define what is a great thing to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just institute and make that happen. You know, find your avenue or your outlook that is going to get you there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and so your tenacity is just really cool, inspiring to me. It's I'm going to be sharing that story to other artists when I meet, because I get the opportunity to just talk to different artists and when they're asking questions, and I think I'm going to start sharing your story where you like show up on the scene in Denver and you're like, I need to get to know people, and I gotta
figure this out,
Yeah.
you know, and that literally what it was is that I've been working so long in media in California and in Australia and like worldwide that coming to a centralized location as Denver, and back then Denver didn't even really have a great music scene.
Yeah.
So I was like, God, what am I gonna do? Like I can't get on the radio here. The radio is so closed off. Like, all right, here we go.
Like, let's see what happens. So I'm just curious, have you always been like that, or was there something that always just, even as a little girl, you're like, I'm going to walk into this preschool and I'm going to know all these people and they're going to know what's up? Like,
I grew up in a military family, so moving around every couple of years really kind of developed this personality.
That's cool.
I feel so. I knew that if I was starting this new school, I'm not going to have any friends unless I woke up to you and start talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Because everyone else is like, oh, new kid.
They're already friends, you know. So I have to take that initiative and I have to make it happen. So it's been that way my whole life.
That's cool. Feel. So in a sense, got all your training just growing up.
Yeah, just growing up. Yeah.
And then you've already been all over the world then through that.
At that point, yeah. So, but like I said, moving every 2 years. Mm-hmm. If you want to have friends, you've got to get out there and show yourself.
Absolutely.
So yeah, cool. That's what I would say.
So kind of parting advice. You work with so many different artists. If you had an opportunity just to sit down with an artist right now, what would be one of the number one things you would tell them? Like, say they're just getting started out.
They're just getting started out. I mean, gosh, don't know your worth. You know, like
don't know your worth.
Do know, like don't know your worth. Like sell yourself short.
Sell out, sell short all the time.
$50 shows is totally okay.
That shit's gonna pay off one day.
Yeah, it's gonna totally pay off. Like,
sorry, I missed you.
Yeah, like don't sell yourself short. Though.
Gotcha.
Yeah, totally know your own worth. You know. And even if you are an artist that nobody has ever heard of, still act like you are, you know? Yes. Put yourself out there and say, no, this is what's so great about me. Just give it a listen, you know, give me a chance. Yeah. And people will give you that chance, you know? Network with people as much as you can, even if you're centralized in Detroit, you know? Get on Facebook and start talking to different media platforms in different cities.
And you might be playing someone's birthday party
you might
at
be
a club.
At a birthday party.
A huge party.
You know, 100 people, my close friends. It was so ridiculous. I'm always like, yeah, there'll be thousands of people. No, it's usually a private party with like my 100 close friends.
Just your 100 close friends
like,
at a club. And
sell a bar out.
It is, that actually is just, it's funny because I've told that story, I don't know how many times, when artists come to me and they're just like, I'm like, social media isn't even worth it. And I'm like, well, let me tell you, that's one of the stories I share where it's like, I'm like, next thing you know, we're in Denver playing our first show for 100 people, and then like creating long-term friendships through Twitter, and
exactly.
That's awesome.
So definitely.
So know your worth.
Know your worth, and don't sell yourself short, and put yourself out there. It's a little intimidating at first, but here's the thing. It's okay if you're rejected.
Right.
It's okay if someone says no, because it's putting you on the path somewhere else where you need to be.
That's cool.
So go with it.
Yeah, and my oldest son, he gets to go on some tours with me from time to time now. He's 15, and he was just kind of like struck by, he's like, you just walk up to anyone and start talking to them. It's like,
that's what you do.
Is you do it, and that's what I told him, is like, even for him, like, I was like, just try at a party, the next party you're at, just say, I'm going to meet everyone in this room. And then you'll find the people you connect. Like you said, where it's like certain people, it's like, I'm not vibing. We're not vibing.
Right. You might meet somebody and be like, I'm going to just go ahead and walk over here now.
Right.
Yeah, it's totally okay.
Yeah, and you're probably happier that I'm walking over here too. That's cool.
Yeah, so when you walk over here, though, then you meet the person that you're supposed to talk to you initially.
Exactly.
So that's how it kind of happens. So just put yourself out there. Don't be afraid of rejection. Rejection is going to happen in life, period.
Yeah.
Okay? Toughen up, get over it, and just go.
Go do it.
Yeah,
do some
just go do
jujitsu.
it.
You can do an arm bar, and it'll be awesome.
If they do something shady, then you just put them in an arm bar and like, okay.
And that's how you make friends.
And that's how you make friends.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for making the time. This is great, and it's great to catch up.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward
to see you again.
Being back here in Denver again.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Yeah. So we'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Live and Create podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment or a review.
The Live and Create podcast.